Hello and welcome to today's podcast. Today I'm going to be talking about how to build a high performance team. Now, that is easier said than done, but I think that there are certain ways that you can go about building your team that get you there. So today I'm going to go through 8 different tips on how you can get your team from where it is today to be a high performance team. And as I said, there is no secret sauce other than looking at all these factors and trying to attack each of them individually and be able to create a team that will perform at their highest level. And in my experience over the last 7 years, these are some of the things that I have come to realize that are critical success factors in actually building a high performance team. So let's get right into it. So the first one is that you have to be deliberate about the way you hire people. Now, I usually tell entrepreneurs that hiring the best people is like drawing the lottery. Because you can do a lot of things right when you hire people. Your interview process, your screening process, you can do everything by the book, and yet the candidate that you get may not pan out for several reasons. So you have to take that kind of approach to hiring where you want to make sure that before you bring somebody on board that you have done your homework, that they are the right person for the job, that you've done your pre-screening, that you forced yourself to interview a few candidates before you make the decision. And then once they come on board, make sure that you are constantly checking to make sure that their expectation of what the job is and what your expectation of what they were coming to do align. And that has to be something that you find out very quickly. Maybe the first 3 months that needs to be established so that you're not wasting your time and you're wasting the person's time training them only to find out a year down the road that this is not working out. So always make sure that the fit is there, even if you've done everything by the book. And even after doing all that, I found that people will come in and you may be able to discover that what you hired them for may not be necessarily what they are best at, or what you hired them for may not be the best contribution they can make to your company. So here you have to be very flexible. And what I've done, one of the best things I've done when it comes to hiring people is that I bring people in and then I let them find their niche. Because if I hired you to be a salesperson and then you come in and I realize that you are actually very good at operations, and if there's a position there, that's where I'll move you. Because there's no point in pigeoning somebody into a particular position when they are not at their peak in that position. Even though they came through the door for that position, you have to be flexible enough and recognize that there may be a better fit for that person. And if you are that flexible, you will be surprised how much you will discover about people. So one of the best things, as I said, I've done is being that flexible, and I have people on my team that came through the door for one position and over time ended up in a very different position for whatever reason. And they are better off, they're happier, and they are performing and providing more value to the company than if I had let them stay in the position I hired them for, or I actually let them leave if they were not performing at that position. So that's the first critical factor is that you have to do the homework, hire the right people, but even when you do, you should know that sometimes it may not work out. And when it doesn't, you should ask yourself a question: what else can this person do? What value can this person bring to the company? Is there something else the person has? Is there another skill that the person has that we can use that will get them to be able to perform at a level that they're not currently performing at? So that's number one. Number two is that you, as the manager, have to be invested in the success of each and every one of your team members. And when you have a very large organization, that's very difficult to do. So you have to make sure that your 1 or 2 level downs are also managing that to that metric. But if you are a startup or you just started and you have a small team, that is even an opportunity for you to be more invested in the success of your team members. They have to feel and know that you are invested, you care about their success, not only in the role that they are in, but also in the aspirations that they have for their life. So you have to get out of your shell and try to find out where are people trying to go. Each of your team members obviously, have a career path, and some of that will run through your company, and some of that will run outside of your company, and that's okay. You should never be threatened if your team members have aspirations or ambitions beyond your company, because they are here, they are in your company now for a reason, and you want to maximize that and help them to be able to have the best experience with you in your company. And then should they move on, that's okay. So you have to be able to find out what they are trying to go, where they're trying to go, and invest in that dream and make sure that whatever they're doing here, if it's going to lead them to that path, that you are helping in that journey. That's very important. They have to feel and know that you're invested in their success in your company. And if they have ambitions outside of your company, that you're not threatened by that. You'll be surprised how that will get people to do their very best for you if they know that you're not threatened by everything else that they're trying to do in their life. Because to be honest with you, you may feel that your company, everybody should live and breathe it. But people have lives outside your company. They have dreams outside your company. So you have to be able to buy into that and show that you are committed to helping them realize that. So that's the second one. The third one is that your team, to be a high performance team, has to be heading in the same direction. And so when you set a goal, you have to make sure that from the bottom up or the top down, that everybody knows what that goal is. And that starts with what the mission of the company is. Is there something that everybody can crystallize in one single line as what the team is about? And if you don't have that, you need to find that, because there has to be a rallying cry for why your team exists. And everybody has to be able to crystallize that and say that clearly in a very short line, phrase, or sentence, what you guys are about or where you guys are going. And once that goal is set, everybody has to buy into it and be heading in the same direction. And one way to measure that is that constantly you have to check with your team. If somebody is doing something or working on something that doesn't fit into that overall goal that you've all agreed to, they need to stop doing it. And that's why it's important for you to have an overarching goal for the company, for each team, and break it down at team level so that everybody knows what they are doing in their individual team to connect to the larger goal. And if they are doing something down here that does not meet the team's goal towards realizing the company goal, then they need to stop. So that is one way of constantly checking that you're all on the same page, because you cannot perform at the highest level at an efficient team if people don't even understand what the mission is. And if they do understand what the mission is, they have to be able to connect what they're doing individually to that mission. And if they can't, then that is something that you have to fix. Because from the very lowest employee to the top executives, everybody has to be able to connect their reason for being in the company and what their part is in realizing that goal. Otherwise, you need to fire some people, because if there are people in your company whose job does not connect to the larger mission, you need to ask yourself, why are they there? Because everybody in your company has to be working towards that goal. And that is so critical in making sure that you are unified as a team and are heading in the same direction. Now, the fourth tip on how to grow a high performance team is compensation. Now, apart from being able to compensate people fairly for the work they're doing, you also have to tie their compensation to performance. Your company has to be known as a place that rewards hard work. And the entire company has to know it to the lowest employee. Whoever is at the bottom needs to know that if they work hard, they will get to the next level. And then if they work hard and achieve their metrics and achieve their goals, that they will be compensated for it. You will be surprised how powerful that notion is when people know that they will be compensated for their work if they work hard. And if you're a large organization, make sure that your managers are performance managing to those standards. And if you're a small team, you need to individually be invested in making sure that everybody knows what the next level is. What can they do to get the next job? What can they do to get a raise? What is the next level for them? Everybody has to know that and has to know the path they need to take to get there. And if you don't have that, you need to start thinking about that. Now, not everybody is motivated by money. So when it comes to compensation, you have to also be flexible. There are people who are more concerned about benefits they can get. So if they are at a level where they don't qualify for benefits and they want to work to a level where they can qualify, you need to know that. You need to find that out. If people like more time off or like flexibility in their time schedule, you need to find that out. That is all part of the compensation and benefits package that attract people to your company and make them want to work at the highest level for you, because they are happy employees and they want to see the company succeed so that they can also continue to benefit from that success. Now, the fifth tip is that you have to deal with strugglers, people who are not performing at the peak, at where they should be. So if you have employees that are problem employees, if you have employees that are not pulling their weight, you have to deal with that quickly. You cannot be a high performance team and have people drag the team down. And so if you have employees that for whatever reason are not measuring up, sometimes you have people who have been with the company for a while and then they tap out. Either they've outgrown the company or the company has outgrown them. Either way, you have to deal with it, because you don't want people who are not there and happy to drag the rest of the team down. They will create distractions for everybody else because people will be frustrated having to carry their load. And it's also, it becomes a downer on morale, because when you have everybody working at their peak and there's one person or two people on the team who are not pulling their weight, it brings everybody's morale down. So for morale issues, for disruptions, and the fact that you have to even deal with it, you want to make sure that you clean house quickly. People say, be slow to hire and quick to fire. I believe in that. Before you bring somebody on board, do your work. If somebody is dragging the team down, let them go, because you will be thankful for making that decision quickly, because that can be a cancer that can eat the entire team, and then you have a bigger problem that you have to deal with. So point number 6 is that you have to make everybody part of the solution. You are going to face tremendous challenges in business. They say that in business you're going to have thrilling highs where things are great and everybody's happy and everything is kosher and we're all just singing the same song. And then you're going to have times when things are really, really tough. And during those tough moments, you need everybody as part of the solution. Do not underestimate anybody. Do not underestimate any member of your team. Bring everybody into the room and try to brainstorm and find out what is the best way to address this issue we are all facing. And if the company is too big to do that, start from each team at the team level. Let them all brainstorm and roll it up and bring it up all the way, and make sure that you're listening to everybody. You will be surprised where you're going to get the best ideas from. So do not count anybody out of the solution. And once everybody feels part of the brainstorming, once a solution is found or once a plan is agreed upon, you'll begin to feel the energy that everybody feels connected to that plan, and they'll be willing to work hard to get it realized. And that is another benefit of a high solutions team, where you're all on the same page in the good times and you're all on the same page during the difficult time. But you can only do that if you bring everybody together and make them part of the solution. Number 7 is that you have to measure. You have to be about measurement of performance. No matter who is working for you, there has to be a metric that defines success for them, so that people are not just wandering and doing what they want and they understand what success means. You have to be able to have people know that this is what success looks like. This is what it looks like when they are meeting or exceeding expectations. So there have to be metrics built around each job, and make sure that your managers or you, the owner, you're holding everybody accountable to their individual metrics. which will then roll up to the overall company metrics. So be about the numbers. Be relentless with data. Let your employees know that nothing is left in the fuzzy land. Nothing is left nothing is guesswork, or nothing is just left to hang. If it doesn't connect to a data point, you need to make sure that it does, so that everybody can connect what they're doing to a particular metric, which will then all roll up to the overall company metric. And then finally, provide opportunity for feedback. Feedback for your managers, feedback for you, feedback from your customers. Make sure that your team is not egotistical to the point where everybody feels like they know everything. Feedback is very important, and you should make sure that the team knows that they can come to you, the boss, to provide feedback. And if they don't, you should provide opportunities where you're constantly asking for feedback. Feedback about how you are performing as a manager, feedback about how the company is doing, feedback about how you're treating your customers, feedback about everything that is critical to the success of the company. And if you open that door and become a culture where people are comfortable sharing their opinion about how to make things better, how to make you a better manager, or how you can help them do their job better, that will make you grow a team that will perform at the highest level possible. Because it's not just about you being there for your employees, but it's also about them knowing that they have the tools to be able to function, and that if there's an issue that they see, right, wrong, or indifferent, that they can freely share it so that it can better the company. So those are 8 different tips that over the years I have come up with, and based on trial and error, based on observation, based on mistakes I've made, based on things I've learned from other people, that I think are critical ingredients for building a high performance team. And I hope this is very helpful to you, and that you too will take that and be able to build a team that you're proud of. And if there's anything I missed, let us know through feedback. So that's the end of today's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel. Thank you.